Exa and I are hosting because day 43 is otherwise engaged. I think we're live, but someone can confirm.
Yeah, same live. I'm not seeing it on the YouTubes yet. Let me just give it a quick refresh, and we'll see how we're looking.
And if that's live, I'll hit the intro. I'll hit the intro.
We are live.
Okay, here we go.
Man, thank goodness.
That is a very long intro when you're waiting to say stuff.
But
we don't it's also very cool.
And we don't see it I don't see it. I don't know if you see it. I have to be on YouTube to know what's going on because it's on.
Oh, I see it.
It just goes blank for me.
I see it at this end. So yeah, there's some parts of that intro that I actually don't remember, like when the chick's flicking the letters and it says Pulse, like it's one of those guessing game show things. I don't remember seeing that, but I guess
the old Wheel of Fortune, I think it was.
Yeah, that kind of stuff.
Holy shit, man! What a week.
Yes, indeed. Yes, indeed.
And the craziest thing is what's going on in Hex is not the craziest thing going on in crypto either.
That's true. Yeah. The war, the exchange war.
Exchange war, yeah. But it's like they're both saying, no, we don't want to fight, and let's work together, and we're all buddies. But man, what's happening?
But I'm going to liquidate your ass.
Holy shit! I can't remember being this entertained in the last bear market.
Yeah. Now, I got accused on Twitter of being sort of like pro CZ or on CZ's side, but I'm like, no. In this case, it's just kind of like the lesser of two evils, in my opinion.
Yeah.
I'm so disgusted by what Sam was doing that in this particular battle, I'm gonna be rooting for the person that is like the lesser, like the least piece of shit.
Yeah, I think the reality is they're both running big businesses. You don't get to where you are by being by trying to please everyone. You've got to be pretty ruthless when you're making decisions. And I'm sure CZ has done just as much shit that's coming out as SBF has done in the background as well. I think the only difference was he didn't put himself at odds with the whole crypto industry on a very important topic. So he's always been running his centralized exchange and gatekeeping Hex and listing. Like there's that whole crypto mafia thing going on.
Yeah.
But I think this was one step too far from Sam, which basically put him offside with everyone.
With pretty much everyone. Yeah, exactly. I don't remember CZ ever doing any, apart from what he did to Hex. I don't remember him ever doing any sort of like outwardly malicious attacks on crypto broadly.
No, that you know of.
And because And because he's not in America, he's not getting in bed with politicians and trying to make legislation that is favorable to his exchange and that sort of thing. And they actually went and reincorporated in Malta or something when they started coming under sort of like regulatory pressure.
I don't think anyone actually knows where they're based, and because they made noise about going to Malta, but it never eventuated. And there was actually a bit of argy-bargy between. I'm not sure what position the politician held or the person in government held in Malta's. Must have been their financial arm. What do they call it? MSF or MSA or something like that. But they had sort of CZ was going to come and give them some money to do something, help with something, and that never eventuated either. So I think there was a little bit of ill feeling there. But that's just dealing with regulators in countries, and I think that's the one thing I admire for him is he's managed to build this massive empire, and people can't pin him down. It's crazy how he's managed to do that. It's insane. So
credit where credit's due on being business minded and being a strategist, sort of
being able to play the game. Essentially, he's obviously got the right people helping him navigate those waters.
You know, something interesting that people might not know is that CZ did. You know how there's that guy in Hex? He's in the documentary, or he's going to be in the documentary Highest of Stakes, which I'm told they've got news coming out soon as well. And he, you know, there's that guy that he went all in with his house money at the top. CZ did that. CZ did that. Like like as in, if we take him at his word, he said that when he first got into crypto, he was so sure of Bitcoin that he just went all in with his net wealth, like either sold his house or mortgaged his house or something like that to go all in. And then it was the top and it crashed all the way down. So he went from that situation, which would be like literally the worst thing ever, to being the largest or second largest now or whatever, approximately the largest exchange owner in the whole of crypto.
That's just thinking on that, and this is probably a very generalized statement, but I get the feeling that a lot of people come into the space, and when they truly find their feet, so they're comfortable in that this thing's going to be around for a long time, it's not going to disappear. And they actually get on board more with the whole ethos. Everyone tends to go on and add more back than just being a hodler. Is that being too general, you think? Like there seems to be a lot of people contribute to the space. Is I guess what I'm trying to drive at.
Yeah, I think so. Yeah, I think that's accurate. That I call it the bait and switch, that people come in for the mad gains and then they stay for the revolution, basically.
Yeah, that's right. Yep, for sure. And I think
and each cycle, even if you get a massive amount of people coming in and most of those people leaving when it goes bare, each time you get that percentage retention. And so you're growing the space in terms of like the diehard people that are not going to ever leave. That increases every bull bear cycle. So let me clarify. So when I meant people start to add to the community and the sector, it is the guys that hang around. Like you come in for the mad gains, you get really sucked down the rabbit hole. You got to go through a bear market or a couple, but then you get that confidence because you've seen it crash down to nothing, get back up and go again. So I guess it instills you with a bit of confidence when you understand a bit more of the tech and what's going on. For me, I'm speaking personally now, I feel that you've got to add what you can to move the space forward. 100%. So I guess the other big news is
the elephant.
The other big news is the SEC thing, which I'm catching up on myself. And mainly from watching. So when I get recommended videos, either from you guys or other people on Telegram, that sort of thing is when I watch it. And I was just actually literally watching the video between RG3 and Lit as as
Yeah.
I was preparing for this stream.
Yep, and I think Lit's in the chat at the moment. So yeah,
Cool.
shout out to you, Lit. That was awesome that you and RG got together and done that. And I think it's this is the time when you need all the level heads to come out and just calm things down a little bit, because it's nowhere near as bad as what some people are making it out. But on the flip side to that, it's not fake either. Like there's a middle ground there.
Yeah, I agreed with all of their sentiment, and I particularly agree with the whole. There's no point in going balls out publicly against the SEC. You can have those kinds of chats in like semi-private, still technically public, but just slightly more restricted chat groups, like chat groups on Telegram and stuff like that. That's where you can act like a hard ass and tell the SEC what you really think. But
yeah,
because I think the main point is, because everyone's still just a human, you do get that human element where if someone's offended and they're like, man, there's a lot of people in this community that are being rude as shit. Like, let's just go extra hard. So
I think we've dealt with so much FUD since the early days of Hex. And have you got that clip from day 43 that we can pull up later on?
Oh, yeah, I do. I'll see if I can.
Yeah, so we'll go to that in a sec. But yeah, so we've dealt with waves of FUD since the very beginning. And I must admit, when it first dropped about the SEC inquiry, I immediately went to combat FUD mode and was asking people to prove it, and it sounds like bullshit. And so I was definitely in that camp. And I think in this space, you just learn to have your bullshit radar dialed up to 11 all the time, because most of this 99% of the shit you hear is fake or on a spectrum of fake. So, but now obviously it's very clear that some people have been issued, and we're personally I only know of one, and it seems that Lit and RG were only aware of one other person as well. And I can totally understand that if you were someone that had received one of those, and particularly if you're not really doxed, you've just got a handle or something like that in the community, you probably don't want it widely spread around, and you don't want your details pushed around. It's your private business. So totally understand and respect if there's others that have been issued one of those and don't want to come out and let other people know. It's totally fine. I think you've got to respect people's privacy.
Oh, wow, that shares immediately. I didn't realize that. So not because normally when I share, day 43 has to turn it on and make it come up. But here we go. So I think
the quality of this is a bit crap. I think the video quality is a bit crap. The audio is good, and I think it'll get the point across.
So you tell me if you can hear it, and then we need people in the chat to also say, because I'm not sure how the audio works with like these external source things. So I'll just press play and we'll see.
No, I can't hear it. Just be careful when you put it on. Sometimes you get the feedback. But
Oh, okay. Oh, sorry. Yeah. Let me make sure. Oh no, I've got headphones on, so that should be okay. And so does the audio source not come through with it? So you can't hear when that plays?
I couldn't hear that, but maybe I think there's a button you've got to, when you share, you've got to say share audio or something. Well, on my end you do. It might be different if you're driving the bus. All
right, let's see.
You're doing a good job, man, because I wouldn't know what buttons to push.
Oh, wait, yeah, here we go. Edit. So now I'll just turn that off. Oh, shit. Remove source. And then we'll add that back in.
Yeah, so Sammy's just in chat saying she knows of 3 who've been issued, and one isn't an influencer, just a hexagon, which is, so I don't know how this has been
weird.
determined. Yeah, it's a little bit random. So, but yeah, totally up to those guys to whether they want to come forward and let other people know. If not, totally cool. I hope they they get the professional assistance they need to navigate the waters pretty quickly and efficiently.
So can you hear that?
No.
Oh, okay. Sorry, dudes. I don't know how to get the audio. I know that Day 43 has struggled with this in the past.
What I can do
in terms of getting the if you can think of how he's solved that problem in the past.
Let's see if I can run it on my end, and it might be easier for you to share my source with sound.
Yeah, if you want to try and do it.
Yep. Just give me a second. Try not to dox anything. What do we got?
Oh, I remember this video. It's actually really good. It's really good, and it's very true.
It's so dumb.
Okay, so
I can hear it at your end.
All right, so let me see if I can share it now.
Oh, that would have been one way to do it. Would be for me to actually have turned my speakers all the way up, and then you would have heard the sound coming back through the mic. But anyway,
pretty ugly. Let's see if we can.
I
reckon we can get this together. Let's have a go.
Represent, yo.
Oh, why is it doing that?
You know, while you're doing that, I'm just going to have a quick check of see who's in the chat. Sammy's in here. Hey, Sammy. Oh, what? My live chat's just disappeared.
It's all right. We know what's going on.
What the hell?
All right, I'm going to just try and share this, mate. Let's see how we go. Share screen.
Yep, hit it.
Share audio. That one. Have a crack at that, mate.
Yep. Got it.
Like, I hate it's so dumb. The number of times I've had to answer these, every single epoch of Hex, like epoch, EOPCH, like period of time, has had its own brand of FUD. So the first Hex FUD was, where did the ETH go? The next Hex FUD was origin address. The next Hex FUD was Richard, terrible guy. The next Hex FUD was big payday. Everything's dead after big payday. And then the next Hex FUD was, it's just endless. Like people's narratives, their trash idea why this world's best asset is somehow magically just going to stop being the world's best asset. They just keep dying over time. And so this particular type of FUD is like, how am I going to sell FUD? You know how many Rolexes and Ferraris and Lamborghinis and McLarens and houses we've seen people selling the living crap out of the Hex price, just murdering it? People are selling Hex like crazy, and it keeps making new all-time highs because as much as people sell into it, there's more demand. The demand exceeds the supply, period, which is the price keeps going up. That's why. And so you've never had more liquidity than you have now. But I still get wrecked plebs asking me these stupid questions like, how am I going to be able to sell?
And so now we're on the next epoch of Hex FUD, which is the SEC.
Yeah, and to be clear, so it was really good listening to Lit and RG. So there's no cases being brought. This is purely just digging around to speak to people in the community and seeing what they can find out. And what they might find out is, no one's being paid to shield Hex, and that could be the end of the matter. Like no one's getting paid to do anything.
Yes, someone should actually keep track of all of these FUD narratives that Hex has gone through, because there was also like PulseChain's never going to get released. Richard can't come back into America, like has to flee to some other country because he would get arrested in America. That got debunked when he went to America. You know, there's been all of these sort of like FUD attacks. There's the whole like you can't sell it. Oh, there was a whole period or like a group of people that continuously kept thinking that the way that Hex works is you have to stake it. That you can't hold it liquid, and so it's a scam because it's like it looks like you're earning money, but you're locked. But it's like dumbass. You can have either. There's all sorts of FUD.
Yeah.
The Richard holding or OA holding too much of the supply, although I think he did list the OA, but he didn't specifically say that whole thing about the holding too much of the supply. What else was there?
And it's funny so what's going on with Sam at the moment, and is it I think it's Solana they must hold a massive bag of, or the
they're somehow involved. They're somehow involved in it. He backed it at one point, or he's either a large holder or he's somehow involved in it.
Yeah, and I think their FTT token as well. I think they own an absolutely horrendous bag of that. And so
Almeida Research holds huge bags of those tokens, Solana,
and so does
and FTT.
CZ. So to think that there's not concentrated supply in other projects or other protocols is a double standard. So I guess the long and
all this buyback and burn stuff that, they were like, FTT, we're doing buyback and burn, which makes people believe that means that the price has to go up, right?
Yeah.
Because a huge amount of supply is getting bought, and then see you later. It's the chart's trashed.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. It's
do you know the good thing that has come out of this is the freaking people getting their shit off exchanges, and everyone encouraging everyone to get their shit off exchanges. So that has been so that's the one good thing that has come out of this is people are panic removing their shit from exchanges. They're either panic selling or panic removing.
It's just
not worth the risk.
I was going to say, it's taken 13 years for people to learn, though, mate. Like, how many times does shit have to happen for people to not do that? I think they're just the thing with centralized exchanges is they're the ones that give you the tools to be able to do the leverage trading, and you get all that nice, simple stuff that, sorry, shouldn't say simple, probably operates more fluidly because it's on a centralized exchange. And there's things that you can obviously do there that are a lot harder to do on chain. But then people slowly just keep getting lazy and leaving shit on there, and it's all the degenerate stuff that's taking place. It's going to happen time and time again, unless people start using the technology for what it was made for. I just wanted to pick up on one thing, because you rattled off a whole heap of Hex FUD things then. And in my mind, there is one guy that has perpetuated every single one of those items. Yet the community still keeps going back for more engagement with him. And that's Mr. Eric Wall. And he has been, like, he's funny and he's an awesome...
He was the one he started the one about Richard not being able to go to America. That was he originated that narrative. Yeah.
So like, I get that he's good at trolling. He's funny, and there's always an element of truth in what he does. But I'm just, at this point, I think he does more damage engaging with him than he does add value.
Do you know what I think the problem is? He's just likable. Like, I like the guy, even though he's saying shit that I hate, but I still like him. It's really weird. It's really weird.
But I think it just that's his whole gig is trolling, and he doesn't just do it to the Hex community. He does it to a number of different communities. That's his thing. But I just, at some point, you've got to just go, come on, guys, like, do you really want to keep engaging with this person if there's guys dumping 80 million Hex, market selling 80 million
that
Hex.
Was savage.
And that, I can't imagine that was planned. That's got to be from the FUD of it. Like, no one else just does that.
I saw the funniest tweet. It was like, quick, we need Greta back. These dolphins are dying. Oh my god, it made me literally lol. Like, I was literally laughing out loud.
I must admit that was funny, that one.
But yeah, that person fully nuked themselves. So they copped emergency end state penalties because they emergency end state all their shit. They literally sold everything. They also market so that they're out, like no more stakes, no more liquid. So they're not going to be on board at all for the next pool. They also ate mad slippage, right? That's 3. And then 4, they didn't mint their Hadron before they did it. So
yeah,
they
I'm
literally
not-
nuked themselves 4 times. Game over. Just
But yeah, someone said that had been, and I could be wrong. I thought I heard someone say it had been good accounted a while back.
okay.
So I don't-
So they maybe didn't claim the remainder of their Hadron, but it had been minted at some point along the way.
potentially.
So
So-
then, yeah, okay.
So I'm a little bit unclear. So if you put something into good accounting, I'm assuming you wouldn't get penalties until you actually ended the stake.
Yeah.
Yep. But would it preclude you from minting your Hadron?
I've actually never tried.
Yeah. So I don't know about how that would work. But this, I think they good accounting this when Hex was at 20 cents or something like that, and then they've just sold it at an average sell of, I think it was 2.4 cents or something. So it's
I just like the narrative. I like the sort of like the long list of fuck ups. In terms of like, because it's a total fuck up.
And all the stakers benefit from that as well. So
And do you really need to sell all, like literally take yourself down to zero? Like, I personally have a policy of never sell none, never sell all, right?
Yeah.
That's and I know, like, I've been breaking that as I've been dumping bags into Hex, because I've been like, I've been actively over the last few weeks, I've been actively dumping, but that's subtly different, because I perceive that if we turn bull, so I don't think those other coins that I was bag holding are going to perform until we turn bull. And when we turn bull, Hex and Bitcoin and everything's going to be going up. So, and I think Hex will get up quite hardcore. So I was like, there's no point me holding these smaller bags of all this other nonsense. But typically, I think it's a good strategy to when you're like, if I had been in that person's position with a bag that large, there's no way I would have sold all of it. Like, even just keeping a very modest amount, like a mil, like just keep, not a mil Hex, not a $1 million worth of Hex.
What if you kept 3,000 T shares still?
Yeah, or like a small number of T shares, or
someone saying they do have another wallet linked to it with 3K. I'm assuming they say shares, but I'm assuming they mean T shares.
So they only all outed on that particular wallet. That's something I didn't actually think of. Yeah, that they could be a multi-wallet. Okay, so they decided to just exit that one wallet.
Yeah, so 3K T shares, you're still a dolphin at that point, aren't you? I think is it 1K T shares makes you a dolphin? Is that
okay?
I think
it's like a dolphin back from the dead. It's like a zombie dolphin. It's a zombie dolphin. It just like.
But I'm sure
you think it got strangled out by a plastic bag, and now it's back. Like, its soul is just in a different dolphin.
So I can't confirm any of that. I don't know whether it's true or not about plastic bags and dolphins, but we'll find out. But yeah, and I think there's a few other people that are dumped as well. So the FUD gets hold of a few people. So I think you've got to have that level head. And we watched a video. We have gone through so many different waves of this, and I've got to be honest. This one, I was like, oh, something else again. Like, it honestly didn't bother me.
I mean, that was a panic sell. Like, that counts as a panic sell.
Oh yeah,
you sell that much in a sync, like immediately. They obviously thought it was literally gonna. Maybe they saw the SEC thing, and before like taking any time to work out how threatening that actually is.
Yeah.
They decided to just not like shoot first, ask questions later.
It could have been strategic as well. They could have thought, okay, I could sell. Price is going to tank, and then
buy back lower or something.
Yeah. So you don't know what people's motivations are. Might have just brought a house. Who knows? But yeah, so it just seems a little bit coincidental that the timing of it.
I'm going to share a chart that shows what we're talking about in terms of the price action, but also interestingly, so I did not tailor these lines, and I can prove this if I could go to old streams and show that these lines have not been moved in terms of these support lines, these green support lines below, right? And the reason I chose them is because this was a local high here, and then this was also a local high according to this wick. So these lines haven't moved. And maybe I adjusted that one when this bottom started forming, right? Because here there's a bit of flexibility into where you could pick that support line. But here, definitely not. There was like, this is the top according to the closes, right? So this is on daily candles, by the way. And what you'll notice is we had basically been bottoming and finding support multiple times at this level. And it's actually the level that the price is on literally right now. And the wick from that 80 mil or 75 mil sell literally took us down, probably because of like people having limit orders in place and that sort of thing. Literally went down to that level. Like if I zoom in here, you can see here this was acting as the floor, the support level, and then boom, like literally tagged the other support level at just over 2 cents, and now we're literally bounced straight back up. So hopefully we can actually find support again on this level at just over 3 cents.
Yeah. I think what's impressive is the speed with which it was brought back up.
Oh yeah, it got 8 back up. It was less than 20 minutes, I think. It was you know, and in fact, even on the 5-minute candles, the lowest close is about this level here at about like 2.8 or 2.9. So there wasn't even a 5-minute candle close below, like much below 3 cents.
So, and that's
or
what
at least on the chart I'm using anyway.
Yeah, I think so. All these FUD events that have happened, and each time one of these FUD events has come along, the ecosystem is stronger every time. Like the amount of things that have been built on top of Hex now. I mean, to think that it's just all going to evaporate and disappear, that'd have to be a monumental event for something like that to happen. So I think all the guys that have been through each wave of these FUD attacks, I don't think they're phased by them. They're not, apart from the couple of people that are selling it down. It's not like everyone's rushing for the exits. Everyone understands what it is that they hold. And it's just another one of those waves. So I think we just got to get a bit of reality around what's actually happening. And 2 weeks' time, there'll be some other bloody drama going on. So it's just the way it works in the community. We went through all the sacrifice FUD and not so for Pulse and Pulse X, but all the other projects that came along as well. So everyone was talking shit through there. And what do you hear about that these days? Like they've all been and gone, and we've moved on to other things. So we're all patiently waiting or impatiently waiting for PulseChain.
Yeah, the only thing I actually don't like is that, and it's only a short-term problem, is all the people who have been saying Hex is going to zero, look, I told you it's a scam and that sort of thing, they get this period through here where it looks like they could be correct, or it looks like they're more likely to be correct than we are, even though it's obvious to us that that's not the case. They get this gloating period where they're like, see, I told you it's going to zero. Look, it's just getting absolutely crushed, like 95% down, like, or whatever. This is what I was talking about here about these 5-minute closes. So the lowest 5-minute close, according to my chart, was 2.8 cents. And so it was even, this was even just a wick, even on the 5-minute chart. So it seems like there's some support around that level at 2.8.
Yeah, so I think a lot of people had orders set around that level.
Yeah, shit, yeah. So I mean, I'm you know, when you zoom out on this chart, you can see that I've had that GAN fan on here for a while, and my comment is that as time goes on, even when we're just like here, we're just kind of grinding our way out of these. Like that's the actual GAN fan, and these white lines I've just drawn like the midpoints as well. And it's like over time, we just slowly make our way out of these different fan levels, and this one here will be the one. This one here, this gray one, is the one that actually links up all the highs, all the lower highs that occurred on the way down.
Yep.
So
what's also interesting is you can't look at this chart in isolation because a lot of things got slaughtered over the last 24 hours.
Good point.
So yeah, we've had a bit of a compounding effect. I think there's other tokens like FTT and all that have copped it even worse, but the whole market reversed a little bit as well.
Yeah,
so,
everything got wrecked on that idea that if either of those giants managed to liquidate each other, that it would just be an absolute, like the flow-on effect, like the cascading liquidations and just loss of confidence and just all of that. It'd basically be like Luna again, but even bigger. And when we're all and when sentiment's already like where we're already super, kicked, beaten, bleeding in the ditch, that would just be, it would be terrible. But obviously, I would be getting up saying I didn't hear no bell. But it's so and so there are people begging. There are people literally on Twitter begging those two guys to just to at least discuss it, not publicly.
Yeah, but that's the silly. That's what I was saying before. They've SBF extended an olive branch, and I don't. They were both saying one thing. They're both saying they don't. Like CZ was saying, I'm not out maliciously trying to attack him. I haven't planned this over a period of time. It's not as sinister as whatever everyone's saying it is. And SBF saying, I think we should work together. Now, what they say and their actions could be two different things, but that's what they were both broadcasting. But I don't think it's in anyone's interest to see these guys go to war.
But also, I would say maybe that's a sign of weakness, like as in
extending an olive branch.
By him saying, yo, let's be bros.
Yeah.
That might translate to, okay, you've got me over a barrel. If you push much harder, we're done. Like, we're fucked.
And that's true.
Like, as in, I need to. I'm going to pretend I'm being the bigger man, but really, it's an act of desperation.
No, it's funny, when I read it, I thought exactly the same thing. I had the first thought was, okay, he wants to reach out and stop the shit, and then I thought, maybe they could be in a bit of trouble. And that's what I'm saying. What they say and what they're doing could be two different things.
Because we saw a drastically different attitude out of him when people were saying, like, fudding Solana or whatever, and he was like, "Fuck you, I'll buy it all." Like, so when he's in the power seat, he does tend to flex pretty hard.
Well, and let's be honest, he has had the upper hand in his dealings with Celsius and Voyager and all those guys. So he's definitely been sort of calling the shots on that front. Do you think this was a shot across the bow to put him in line a little bit, or
by CZ,
or by CZ and by everyone? Like, everyone's literally started dragging their funds, and
everyone's pulling funds and stuff like that. I was actively encouraging people to do that as soon as we found out that he was dogging the boys.
Yeah,
and that BitBoy was actually right about that stuff.
Yep.
I saw an interview with him where he does try to spin things like he's doing it for the community, but he's not. Like, so when he's like, "Oh, I'm trying to save these companies from going under because it would just be bad for crypto as a whole," and that statement's true, but I don't think it is their primary.
They pick up assets for cents on the dollar, you would think. Why would I don't know that it makes sense to go in but he said that they'd pay market rates for things, but would you? Like, if there's no need to? I just couldn't see it. But yeah, I think even if it was just that shot across the bow, I was like, come on, mate, you might want to pull your head in. Maybe.
Oh, that would be perfect. That would be best case scenario, in my opinion.
Yeah.
So that he stops dogging the boys, and then CZ pulls back, and then so that nothing collapses and everyone can, and also people will have, people are slack. So if they've already pulled their shit off exchange, they're probably going to be too slack to go to the effort to put it back on. So that would actually that would be an amazing outcome. Actually, well done, for thinking of that.
Sure, shit. There's definitely lasting damage that's been done to their brand. So even if they get their shit together, there is people that will just, out of principle, never go back there. Like I said last week, I've never actually had an account with those guys, but I'm sure you see it on Twitter. There was a lot of people that were pulling their funds, and I don't think they'll go back there after what's been brought to light.
I made an account because one of my friends convinced me that it was worth buying some of this token called Doge Bear, which is like, it's actually like it was like a 3x short, but it's a token that you buy it long, but it represents you being short. Yeah. So, and he was like, this is sick because we know it's going down at the time, and you don't have to actually short. Like your risk is limited by the fact that token that you bought can just go to zero. Like if you can't do that shit where you actually lose more money than you.
So was it specifically shorting Dogecoin or?
Yeah, that one was, but they had all sorts of ones. They had they've got all of those bear tokens are basically tokenized shorts. And so I literally, that was the only reason I got the tokens. And then as soon as this, and so I even forgot what I had on there. I think I had like a small amount of Bitcoin on there, and maybe a couple of stables and the Doge Bear, and maybe like one other thing that that you couldn't buy anywhere else at some point. And so when this whole thing came out from Bitboy, I literally just went on there, sold everything into Bitcoin, and then just withdrew the Bitcoin. Yep. So yeah, but it wasn't huge dollars. Like, you know, I don't leave massive dollars on exchanges anyway.
Yeah, no, likewise. Yeah, I've got a few comments ticking past. We probably should.
Oh yeah, let's do comments. Let's do.
Normally we have Day 43. He's popping them up on screen, but yeah, we're a little bit slack.
Oh yeah, that's right. Okay, I don't have to look.
You can tell we're not that organized.
Over here, sick. Yeah, I was going to go to my phone to get the Oh wow, that's a lot of comments.
Yeah, there's a lot. So while you're sorting through that, I'll put out a request for a few more comments as well, and we'll just get the feeling in the room. So just circling back to the FUD thing and Eric Wall, as a community, do you think we are better to ghost or engage publicly on things like that? What's everyone thinking in the chats? Do we ghost or do we engage? Okay.
I'm thinking you know that parental advice, which is like, if you don't have anything nice to say, don't say anything at all.
Oh no, you were very explicit about what you said
on my video.
You said, if you don't have anything to say, shut the fuck up. And you put it across very well, like the way you done it.
My favorite one was, if you are even thinking about maybe shutting the fuck up, then just shut the fuck up. Like, if there's that little voice in the back of your head, like, maybe I shouldn't say this, shut the fuck up. Like, it's.
You'll be happy to know that RG quoted that comment today on that stream. I don't know if you picked that up.
I know they got to the point where they were sort of talking about it, but I'm not sure if he actually direct quoted me, or did he?
Well, he said shut the fuck up. So he didn't say tangent to say that, but he said. So maybe your message got out there.
Well, I mean, some people sent me a video of Richard Hart saying "shut the fuck up" about people, if they don't that thing, if you don't understand why your coin is in the top 10, then you need to shut the fuck up. If you don't understand how businesses are run, how to deal with competitors, how to how to market your product, how to make sure that you're competing correctly against competitors and stuff like that, then you need to shut the fuck up. So it was Richard actually had the first video where he had like the multiple telling people to shut the fuck up, but it was subtly different reasoning. But yeah.
So we've got.
So apparently, there's some kind of red moon. There's some kind of blood moon in Australia at the moment.
Yeah, we've got a full eclipse tonight. So I hope I don't miss it while we're on stream, because I don't think they come around too often. So I wouldn't mind getting out and checking that out. How many Hex influencers have received it? I don't think anyone's got a.
Some people that still think this isn't real, I'm pretty sure it's real.
Briz, you sure? Like I don't think you can say it's not fake anymore. Like, we've had people put their hand up, and I know that some people haven't come forward, like we said, but the fact we've got a few, I think it's been confirmed from what I can understand. So, I was, like I said, man, I was exactly the same as you. I was like, no, this is bullshit, because we've just dealt with it so many times before.
This is an interesting theory that it's that the reason that they're doing it is against Pulse and PulseX.
But that wasn't. Actually, there wasn't.
Do you know what I mean? You know what I mean? Like starting to inquire the shit so that to try and understand it more, because it's the same community and that sort of thing. Maybe. Like, I'm not saying this is definitely correct, but it's an interesting theory.
Yeah.
I saw Eric Wall say that Richard will use this as an excuse to not launch PulseChain, and I'm just like, oh my god.
Yeah, and that's what I'm saying, guys. Like, why the shit that he stirs up? I just don't know that it's a net negative talking to the guy. Like, as funny as he is and all that, like, just the shit he spreads in the rooms he starts. I don't know if it's worth all that effort and energy. It just fuels his fire, and then everyone else jumps on the bandwagon. So I just don't know that. Yeah, I don't know that the payoff's there to engage with him. Yeah,
agreed. I just went to check out the window to see, and I can see like quite a red sky. So that's definitely doing that thing.
Cool. How many hexagons does it take to do a stream? I don't know. You get by with one, don't you, mate? You keep everyone entertained when your channel's not getting banned.
I enjoyed a tweet from Sammy where someone was crying about some shit about to do with Hex or the subpoenas or whatever, and Sammy was like, "Do you need a Kleenex, bitch?"
Actually, Sammy had a nice little interaction with Eric and said something about dog shit or stepping in dog shit or something. And I got to admit, his comeback was funny. And then Sammy followed up with another blast. But well, there is a bit of comedy in all of this, but so I can see the funny side of it. But yeah, I can.
Oh, I mean,
there's more to it than that.
I would love to see FTX get, like, as in one half of me would love to see FTX, the exchange, get liquidated, like, and just fall a giant, and learn that lesson that even the one that is like, because since Gox, we've never had the largest exchange go down, and with Gox it was the only exchange, right? So there's still, I think the reason why people still have stuff on exchanges is because they believe that there are some exchanges that are quote unquote too big to fail, or that, you know, they've got so much money that they'll just bail people out if there's a hack or whatever. They'll just pay everyone, which we have seen some exchanges do. Yeah. And so this would be, so I would love to see it from a lesson, and also to take out the biggest threat in terms of centralization, and also this nonsense that he's doing now with regulation, with regulators. But my bags would hate that. Like, as in my financial position would hate that to happen. So
hell yeah.
It's a bittersweet kind of scenario that's playing out.
But do you think, like, the failure of Celsius wasn't enough of a red flag? Like, and big players like Simon Dixon, like, those guys have been around the traps for a long time. They're all embroiled in it.
Yeah, they got smashed. Well, the weird thing is, you would have thought so, right? Like, I would have thought so. Motherfuckers still got their shit on exchange. Oh, I had an interaction with someone on Telegram where they were talking about, I think it's Nexo or something. And they were like, just use Nexo. And I was like, are you fucking joking, dude? Like, Celsius just happened literally like less than a month ago. Are you fucking kidding me? And this guy was like, oh no, this is different because of this. And I was just like, oh my God. There are some people that just think that they just trust the next guy. They just trust the next guy with the identical pitch, man. It's just a different face with the exact same story, and they just immediately believe it. Literally in the aftermath where the thing's still melting down. Like it's not like it's so far in the past that they had time to forget. It's literally while it's still happening, and they just buy that shit.
So,
sorry, you go.
No, you go. Keep going. You're on a roll.
I was going to say, there's a saying in mining. I wanted to actually mention this on a stream. I haven't done it on one of my own streams yet. Often in mining in Australia, like this is actual mining, like gold mining and shit, there are buyouts, right? Like so, the asset, the actual that particular mine, or that deposit will get purchased by a new mining company, right?
Yep.
And when that happens, nothing changes except that formally it's just it's like a logo change, right?
Yeah.
And so they've got these sayings that they make up, the work, like the truck drivers and stuff like that on the sites will say, same dirt, different shirt.
Yep.
And there's another one that's very similar. It's like, it's that sort of thing. It's like a rhyming thing that basically says nothing's changed.
Yeah.
It's literally just a different logo. So we've got a different fuckwit to answer to, but everything else is the same. And there's like in crypto, it's like that, where it's just like, it's almost like we just get the same shit over and over again, and fuckers just don't learn. It's just the same shit.
Yep.
It's like it's just rebranded turds.
Inserting different humans into the mix, and they tend to fuck everyone. So, and this is what I don't get. Like, we've copped Hex as a community has copped so much shit, yet the stuff that we don't even know about that goes on behind closed doors with FTX and Celsius and those guys, and they're gonna. Who knows what's going to happen in terms of any enforcement action and things like that? But half of those guys will just fucking slide by anyway and won't have any repercussions. I'm sure Brzezinski's got a whole bag that he's parked off under his wife's name, so they're going to be sweet, and they'll walk away with it'll be all the depositors that get left holding the bag again, and yet you got Hex that's been absolutely blasted all the time for it. So I don't know, it just seems to be double standards, I think, mate.
I'm disappointed and unimpressed that I've not seen anyone who hated on Hex just at least making the comment to say, you know what, apart from the price going down, there's actually nothing that I can point to that it was ever what we thought, what we were accusing it of. It never rug pulled. It never had like a liquidity pool, like rug pull style thing. The founder never dumped. It didn't have any problems with the code. It didn't have any any dodgy scam shit. Nothing like that. And you can't say that shilling is scammy, because that's what all crypto projects, everyone promotes the coins that they like, right?
But in normal business, they call that advertising.
Yeah. So really,
shit,
the only thing that anyone would be able to point to is that the price went down more than what anyone in Hex would have expected, right? Like, as in,
yeah, maybe,
or that. I'm trying to think of the strongest word, like the strongest negative wording that you could apply that's not disingenuous and dishonest. Would be that.
Could you put your hand on your heart and say no one's lost money? Well, no, you couldn't, because people buy tops, so you can't.
Yeah. So that good point. So you could say some people did get wrecked. You could say some people did get wrecked. Like, but so if
you can look across. You can look across the whole coin market cap, and someone
even
got
Bitcoin. People get, in fact, heaps of people have been wrecked on Bitcoin.
Yeah.
So I think, and I think
the biggest buyer of Bitcoin's been wrecked on Bitcoin.
I think that is the strongest negative accusation that anyone could make against Hex, is that the price went down and some people got wrecked. And because there was no leverage products, the wreckage was way less because it was only spot wreckage. Like it was only, you only got wrecked by the actual percentage that it went down between you buying it and then selling it. Whereas in any other coin where there's fucking leverage products, it would have been way worse.
So what happens when you're trading leverage on an exchange? You get liquidated. So you actually get liquidated out of your position. So even if the worst thing is that someone brought the top and is holding it now, yeah, they're down. But have they been liquidated? No.
That's right. Yeah, you didn't lose it all. Like you
didn't lose it all, and you could argue that
you can hold through the dip.
And you could argue that their coin count might have even gone up if they were stacked.
That's true as well. Yeah.
So I just Par Excellence put it in the chat. I think you put it up. It's a nothing burger. Like no one's. When you look across, and now you can look in retrospect, could Hex, whoever it was, could someone have paid an influencer to get a positive story or get it on their channel? Yep, sure. Did anyone do it? Not that I'm aware of. So none of the main channels paid anyone to do anything. I think the only small thing I think ever happened was someone might have sent BitBoy a bit of dust, is my understanding. So that's probably the only time someone's received a donation for here's a little bit, try it out sort of thing. But I don't think anyone's paid for, that I'm aware of, no one's paid any of the influencers anything. So if I think that's what they're trying to drive at with this investigation is, okay, how's it been marketed, and is there any multi-level, or is there any kickbacks, or is there any of that going on? And Richard has been, and the whole community has been very, very clear to not engage in any of that shit because we didn't like that shit in the industry. So it was interesting listening to Lytton RG. I mean, even Hexo, who does all his thumbnails and things like that, never received anything from him. So I think Rich has been very, very, his intentions have been very deliberate in making sure that no one's ever been paid anything for doing anything on Hex. It's all people doing it off their own back. So I think I think it's actually going to, when we come out of this, regardless of whatever happens, what's this? Just tweeted.
Hex Machine reckons RH just tweeted and we're all good.
Yeah.
Let's see what he said. I was just going to say the comment I pulled up before about Eric Wall saying this is the dumbest idea ever. I think that clip is taken slightly out of context because he said, like, people have clipped that and have gone, this is the dumbest idea I've ever heard, making it sound like he's saying that about Hex in general. But I think it was just part of their dialogue. I don't remember exactly, but so 24 minutes ago. Okay, here we go. I'll share this up. But sorry, Jack, so you can keep talking what you were talking about while I pull this up.
I don't know. I was rambling about something. I was probably on my soapbox again. So I think what I was going to say is that at the end of all of this, I think we will come out. There'll be nothing untoward found, and we'll be squeaky clean, and that will hopefully shut everyone up for a little bit longer till the next round of FUD comes on whatever it is.
Yeah. You actually, you know what? I was thinking today, relative strength. These things that have happened are actually, like, I don't think that it's that bad, but I'm like an OG. So, but for most people in crypto, these are pretty massive on the FUD scale, right? The two biggest exchanges warring against each other, potential liquidations of FT.
It's fucking crazy, man. It is.
Subpoenas getting served and shit like that, specifically to do with Hex.
Yep.
I look at the chart and how fast it rebounded off that massive sell, and I'm like, I think that shows relative strength given this scenario within crypto.
Oh, hell yeah.
Within crypto.
I
think that's actually strong.
Like, obviously it's been the talk of the town over the last couple of days because it's sort of come from left field and everyone's been defending online and it's sort of obviously big news at the moment. I think it'll die away just as quickly as it came. And for me, it's situation normal. Like, just keep doing what you're doing. Like, this is still good. No financial advice. I picked up a bit of Hex. When you see fear events like that, do the opposite. So do what you want to do, I should say. Don't follow what I did.
Yeah. But so I do agree with the fact that if you are going to choose to follow that idea of buy when there's blood in the streets, then this is the sort of zone that you would be looking to do that, right? Like, so the choice is yours in terms of how you do it. But if that's your play, like if that's your, don't bitch out of your strategy when it presents itself, right? Like, you step out of the house, there's been a drive-by, there's blood everywhere. That's the time to be buying streets. Bad analogy. But
you got into Hex for a reason. Has that reason changed? Like, what did you see what was it that was the trigger point for you to get involved? Has any of that changed? If it hasn't, it's situation normal. And everyone that's been in crypto for any length of time has had to watch whatever they're holding get absolutely smashed.
This comment here from Doz is very interesting because basically the way that Richard managed to predict where the ETH top would be and the Bitcoin top as well, in a sense, was looking at previous cycles. And so, and that one's particularly with where the ETH top was, he said that was timed based off what happened in the previous cycle. And Doz is saying that in terms of high to low, we've done the time. Yeah. We've absolutely done the time. We've done the time pain.
Yeah, for sure. And I don't know whether you're looking at this tangent. I assume you follow it pretty closely in terms of the Bitcoin chart. Like, that's showing all the signs of well and truly being a bottom. Now, could it go lower? Yeah, sure it could. Got to hedge everything you say. But it looks like probably within the next 4 to 6 weeks, we might see some of the moving averages cross up. And I think it's the 21. So on a 3-day chart, you got the 21 moving average, and I'll have to check on mine whether it's a 50 or 200 that I'm putting it up there against. But there's this one, every time these two lines cross, it's marked the very bottom of the cycle, and from there it's up, and they're about to cross again. So yeah, I know there's a whole lot of shit going on in the world, but I think this is peak FUD and peak fear, I think, at the moment.
Ivan on Tech made a very interesting point where he said, I'm paraphrasing here and putting my own terminology in, but this is fucking clown world, right? At the moment, it's like, everything's like the opposite of what you'd expect. Good is bad, bad is good, up is down. It's like war is peace. Like it's all like democracy is tyranny. Like, it's just they've just totally changed all the wording of everything, and also everything just kind of happens almost the opposite of what people would expect. So he's like, it's possible that because everything's so bad, it's actually good. Like
that's it. That's when everyone feels like it is shit. Like when everything has bottomed out and you feel like the world is just going to keep getting worse, that's a fair sign that you're at a pretty bad place already. So, yeah.
And his example was to do with how if things get bad enough in the economy, then they have to print. They have to print. And then everything runs. So it's kind of like, all right, well, the thing that people are pointing to for their uncertainty to buy this crypto bottom is they're like, oh yeah, this would normally be a great time to buy crypto, but macro's fucked. But macro being fucked is the reason they're probably going to print. So that's another reason to buy. So it's like, and I guess.
But that's the same at the top of the market as at the bottom of the market. It's always at this time it's different. So at the top of the market, everyone thought we were going to 350K because this time it's different. We're in a super cycle where, I think that thesis is what fucked over Three Arrows. Obviously they were overexposed on the lunar side of things, which was probably the catalyst. But they were of the belief that we're in a super cycle. So everyone brought into that this time it's different. It's going to keep going, and we could be now on the polar opposite of that, where we're at that absolute trough, and it's like no, it's just we're just going to keep going down to the center of the earth. Like that's how everyone's feeling, and they're saying this time it's different. But maybe the charts have bottomed for crypto, and maybe we'll go back up. Who knows?
Heaps of people voted for ghosting, by the way, on ghosting on Eric.
Yeah, I think I'm at that stage again now. Like I blocked him and then I unblocked him because I genuinely enjoy some of the commentary, but I think now it's just like he's proven it. I think it's a net negative.
Ash has asked me what's with the WD-40. So that can of WD-40 behind me, it's true. It is actually WD-40, but it's not the spray lubricant. It's actually an air. It's an air duster. It's an air duster that's just made by the same brand. So I use that to spray out the dust out of like the fans and the shit in the computer. I typically actually bought them for my GPU mining rigs, and that was just one that I happened to bring home with me to do it to my home computers, because the dust actually does build up, even though I've got like air purifiers and shit like that.
So you don't have to answer this question, but so you've got a few mining rigs. Have you got them off site somewhere so they can scream their head off? Hosted somewhere?
Yeah, they're not at mine because I don't have solar here. I'm running them on solar.
Oh yeah,
so they're at a different location. Yeah.
Is it actually worth doing it?
No, hell no, hell no, hell no.
What?
Like not from a finance. So definitely not from a financial point of view.
Yeah, just to support.
Because particularly not if you're in Australia, and paying regular electricity prices, which are huge on relatively globally.
Yeah.
I've got a small Bitcoin miner, the GPU mining rigs. And I've also got a helium miner that doesn't actually use much power. And there's one other thing that I'm like mining or pseudo mining sort of thing. Oh, Chia, which is also not power demanding. So with the GPU mining rigs, when Ethereum switched to proof of stake, I pointed them to ETH Classic, because I already had in the operating system, I already had it set up. So it was an easy thing. It was just like one click. I just switch back, like, because I'd mined ETH Classic in the past. And then eventually I went to the effort of setting up to mine Ethereum proof of work, the fork. And so I'm doing that as to support the network. It's not profitable. It would not be profitable if you had to pay for electricity. And it's probably not even the most, but obviously because I'm mining with free electricity, it can't be unprofitable, but it's not much. It's fuck all money. It's like fuck. It's actually fuck all. You do. So Richard claimed this, and I already knew this. That I didn't learn this from Richard, but he reiterated it. Is that if you look historically, you almost always do better if you take the money that you're going to invest into mining equipment and just buy the coins. And then if you also were to take your electricity bill and then keep buying coins,
DCA,
you're basically DCAing. So you have that initial capital that you use to buy the coins, and then you would be DCAing with electricity.
All right. So while we're on this subject, and since you're a bit of a BTC maxi, so what I see play out every cycle, and I think the BTC maxis think this is a good thing. So you see new miners come in, last a cycle, then as soon as everything pairs back, they go bust. And the way it's framed from a BTC Maxi's point of view is, no, that's good. It means that it's super competitive, and we've got it's not centralized because we're new players coming in all the time. But I think these guys it's not affordable to run the fucking network. And
I think they just get too excited on the way up because it's going up so fast. They're like, let's expand really quickly. So I did hear a podcast recently where they were talking about this, and he was basically saying that it was a mining company that's been around for a while, and they said they are very cautious with how quickly they expand in the bull market, and so it's, you know how traders and everyone in crypto does that, human emotion comes into play on the way up where you do buy in, and it even happens to me after this many cycles. I still get you still get your human emotions factoring in. So he's basically saying that so with mining, it's even more dangerous than other things in crypto to be impacted by that FOMO.
Yep.
Because it's such huge capital investment that basically any miners that come in and are not like really level-headed and conservative and assume that there will be a massive crash at some point are going to get wrecked. So
you see a lot of people,
but then that equipment gets bought by for cheaper rates by other either domestic miners or other mining companies.
So and that's exactly what I'm saying. So someone picks up that old hardware, then they go and get fucked over. Like they go do the same thing. Like there's this constant churn, and people think that's really good because it's competitive. And to me, it screams like it's not a profitable thing to do. Like, so why are people going to continue to do it?
I'll tell you something that they mentioned in that podcast that actually adds to what you're saying in terms of like, so this is me going against BTC is the miners that have been successful have got larger and larger and larger to a point now they're definitely unable or very, very impractical for them to move location based on things like electricity costs, if the political environment changes or something that it's no longer a good idea to be, China banning it or what. That's an extreme example, but you know what I'm talking about. And so they get to a situation where they actually have to just switch their shit off and wait rather than trying to move it around, which is one of the things that the proponents of Bitcoin say, oh, look how amazing this is. The Bitcoin mining can just like chase the stranded energy and chase the thing and chase the political environments that they're going to get the most favorable relationships and deals and things like that. And so increasingly that's becoming not the case anymore as those miners scale up.
Yeah, right. Yeah. Because you set yourself up next to some hydro or something like that, and you built out so much infrastructure. Yeah.
Yes. Yeah. So for various reasons, including stuff like that, it becomes increasingly difficult. So
be interesting to see how all that plays out. It's got to be getting less and less profitable over time. I think,
and then there's this argument that people have about whether the price follows the profitability of mining or whether the profitability follows the price, right? And it could be either or a bit of both. So that you need, because if mining becomes very profitable, then they don't have to sell as many of the coins, and then the price goes up.
Yeah,
and
so I think you're right, and I think what happened a lot this cycle is a lot of large scale miners raised capital just so they didn't have to sell down their Bitcoin. So they wanted to acquire Bitcoin, or there might have been institutions that wanted to buy virgin coins and things like that. So there's obviously a market for the virgin coins as well. But I think a lot of them took on debt or raised funds, whether it's debt or equity, and now things are in the shit. They've still either they've got to sell or they've got to pay. In some cases, they've got to pay that debt, or everyone's sitting on a lot of losses that have invested in those companies.
Yeah. That's a hilarious little interaction that just happened in the chat, or not just happened, but happened earlier in the chat. It said buying the top doesn't make you a victim, and then UFO said it makes you Michael Saylor. Typo on the surname, by the way. But that's
Yeah.
So someone, there's this chick that does crypto astrology, right? And I actually follow her, but only because she's hot as fuck. And she's always doing like, the Mercury's in retrograde or whatever the shit is, and this means that Bitcoin's gonna go up, and this coin's like whatever the hell, right? Like whatever.
Probably be as accurate as TA.
But oh wow, shots fired, shots fired. Someone was actually tweeting out saying, imagine if this blood moon thing was because blood moon was actually marking the bottom of the bear market.
Not as silly as it sounds, because a lot of people buy into that shit, into the moon cycles and all that. So it could be self-fulfilling
prophecy. And also just the coincidence that dude did because that wick does look like a capitulation wick, right? Like to me, that looks like capitulation. That's a mega down wick.
Yeah, it wasn't. That was only one player. We didn't see a huge amount of sells. I think there was that one. Might have been maybe one or two others that sold, but it wasn't like everyone fleeing for the exit sort of.
That's another good point. That no one else. It was just it was literally a single entity. So effectively from if you're looking at like the movement of the community, or like the actions of the community as a whole, would you ever take one data point and be like, it's meaningless? It's meaningless. It's one person selling.
Yep.
So it just looks significant on the chart because that person that had a massive bag in that wallet.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah.
And that's the only reason. So I think that's another good point that I didn't think of, that is actually bullish.
Yeah, so that's I think whatever's transpired, I don't think it's the majority of people that are reacting. I think there's one or two large players that, whether it was intentional, tactical, or whatever, I don't know. But we definitely seen someone offload a little bit. That was a good buying opportunity for everyone else that was sitting there waiting. And majority of comments I seen, everyone was happy. Like they're great, picked up some bargains.
I still maintain whenever I see anyone commenting anything that is positive about the price of Hex going down, it is fucking cope. I still make that is my position, and I'm not changing it. Like,
don't get me wrong, it's bittersweet. So your main bags are getting absolutely slaughtered, and you can add to them, but it doesn't change the fact that you're still getting absolutely slaughtered. So it's a bittersweet thing, like. But I think, I think that's what you mentioned it before. It's if you let your emotions lead your decisions, then you probably wouldn't buy on dips and things like that. So I think you've got to celebrate the little win you get amongst all of that.
I don't know if this is a joke comment or not, but 555 Staker Class says Hex will fail. I definitely do not. I definitely do not agree with that. But I know this. I don't want to misrepresent this comment from Flames is not related to anything that we've been talking about or the comments that I just posted. But I just love the word cope, so I'm going to pull that up. Okay. All right. That's all the comments. I just scrolled through them as quickly as I could. Just
you've done a good job.
So many comments. Someone said. I think it was Franklin said. Just block Eric and move the fuck on. I personally don't block anyone. I've just got a policy because I am so much about like freedom of speech and shit like that. I will unfollow, but I will never block. Like, so unless someone's being like psychotic, like if they're being like a psycho, and I've never had it happen, so I've never actually had to block anyone, so I don't block.
Now I don't know how it works though, but if you were following him, because sometimes what I see in my feed is I'll get a comment from someone pop up and it'll say so and so follows this person. I'll list 2 or 3 people. That I might follow. So I don't know whether it sort of pushes that into your feed because people that you follow or follow you follow that same person. So For what it's worth for me, I think now's the time where the community should rally together and just silence that sort of shit. To be honest, that's my personal opinion.
Yeah. I agree with this. I do block bots and scammers. I do that. Yeah. So someone's saying there's breaking news, something happening in the GitLab. Is that for PulseChain?
In the GitLab, that would be the only one people would refer to because it's the only one that should change. No Hex GitLab, so.
Oh, update. Oh, testnet version 3. Update in a few places mentioning testnet version 3.
Okay.
That would be dope. Yeah. One of the FUD things, I don't know if we've already covered it. Someone was saying that Richard's not going to launch PulseChain or something like that. But wait, no, it wasn't that. It was like some other shit. It was some other shit to do with PulseChain or something. But I'm so confident that PulseChain is going to come out. I'm so confident that it's not. I don't even have like a 1% consideration of it never launching. That's just not on my like. Price might go down. It might have a start price that's like, I doubt it, but lower than what we sacked. That is possible. Like that would maybe have some small percentage allocation assigned to it, but it not coming out is like literally 0%.
Yeah, I'd tend to agree. Like the amount of effort and energy that's been expended, I think it's not likely that would ever be the case. Could it come out and have a massive sell-off and be cheaper than the average sack price? Yeah, probably. A lot of people that have had to wait a while, so a lot of people that are probably hurting.
Actually, that's true. That as time goes on, it's like increasing impatience to get the capital back or whatever it is.
Like what was funny is Steph put a tweet out where he said if anyone's they're hurting or they want out of their pulse sack, then he would look at an OTC deal to pick up their pulse. And I think he got a few people that reach out to him, but they all wanted like 10x and stuff for what they'd paid. So I don't think anyone's really in a hurry to sell it at market rate or at average sack rate.
Wait, so what? Some people were selling them, selling.
No, so Steph just put out a comment on Twitter saying, "Look, guys, for anyone that's worried about the FUD or for some reason wants out of their pulse sack, then send me a DM and I'll buy it off you. I'll take it off your hands. We'll come to some agreement." And I think he had a few people reach out to him, but they all wanted like 100x or 10x or whatever. So he was.
That's interesting. That's very interesting that he would do that. He maybe has some way of doing it that he can do it like trust minimized.
Yeah, I think it was more trolling than anything.
To show it like a demonstration of confidence as opposed to a realistic.
Yeah. I'm sure he would honor it. If he's put that out, I'm sure he'd honor it. But it was more like a guys. If anyone's bitching and moaning sort of thing, I'm happy to take your position off you.
Someone wants to know. Crypto Cliff wants to know the name of the astrology hot chick. I can't remember it right now. She dresses in red. I've fucking forgotten her name though. I'll try and find it while we chat about other stuff. But yeah, so also, Jexa, did you want to comment on this tweet from Richard? Do you think it's significant? The implication here is that don't be scared when crypto crashes. It comes back. Like I think.
Put the tweet up again. I didn't see it. I'd seen something about buying bottoms or something or selling bottoms.
It's just this one here that's to do with. It's basically highlighting all the Bitcoin crashes that have occurred.
Yep.
And saying there's always those poor lost souls that sell the bottom and regret it forever, i.e. he's warning, he's cautioning against selling bottoms or near bottoms for the the future retrospective disappointment when everyone else is getting rich and all you've got is a story to tell your friends about how you could have been rich.
Yeah, I think if someone was to sell now, they wouldn't buy back in until they felt there was a lot more confidence in the market, at which time they'd probably get maybe half their bag back. By the time they'd seen enough recovery to go, you know what, I'm coming back in. So I think,
yeah, good point. That's the hardest part. That's the hardest part is how, because then you're trying to time markets. You're trying So it's especially if you have to emergency end state to do it, man.
Yeah, that's right. But if you sell at that level there, I just couldn't see you buying back into that level, because you sold at that level for a reason. So you weren't confident at that level. So you'd want to, if it goes down lower, you'd be like, oh no, it's going to keep going lower. So you're not going to buy that. You're not going to buy the dip. So you'd be wanting to see it psychologically. You'd be wanting to see it go above where you had sold, so that you had some confidence, and that's how people get left behind.
Yeah, 100%.
They either get left behind or they give away 30% of their bag, 50% of their bag.
I noticed on the Hex 4-hour chart, we actually hit. So I'll actually just show this. So see these green arrows through here. These are significant for the TD indicator. This light green one is a 9. These dark green ones are combo 13, sequential 13, and aggressive 13. So basically, it has managed to complete all 3 of the 3 different types of 13s that you can have, these 13 counts, which are like those extended counts that sometimes occur. And we've also hit the 9 literally on this candle here as well. So according to the TD indicator on the 4-hour, we are really good for a reversal here.
Okay, I don't know how to read that, so I'll take your word for it.
Yes, yeah. You guys will just have to take my word for that. If you're not familiar with the indicator, you just have to take my word for it. I mean, on the daily, unfortunately, there was a 9 candle here. Now this is already the next, the next red one. So that's theoretically saying that you're going into like a continuation. So like another 8 days of downside. But I really do think that after this capitulation, we could bottom here.
Yep.
I really hope we do, because we're at this level where we're basically at this level that we've been at. We've been testing this level for a while now. You know what I mean?
Yep.
So,
well, while we're reading tea leaves, I'll bring up so this is the Bitcoin chart that I was talking about. Excuse me.
Yep.
Can we make that bigger? Can we pop off to the side?
Yeah, I think I can put us somewhere else.
Yep. Okay, so this is a 3-day chart. So up here you see the 3-day chart, and
yep,
I've got a 21 moving average, but because we're on the 3-day chart, that's the equivalent of 63 days. And then we've got this green line. That's the one we're tracking. So when the yellow line crosses up above the green line, that's historically been when we exit a bear market. So we drop below, battle our way down, have the capitulation, and then once we break from there, that's usually the reversal point. So this was back in December 2013. So let's go to the next wave or cycle. Same thing, dropped below and big capitulation down, crab sideways, then these two crossed up, and that was the signal to go into, as what Richard calls it, it's the plus token rally or whatever we had there. But it basically signaled the bottom. Now that had a big boost that year in particular, that cycle. So where are we nowadays? So we had a little bit of a funny top. We didn't have our blow off top, so ours has stretched out a little bit longer. This box was a target I put way back here. I'd sort of worked out that target, and we never really got down to that target. But what's interesting is, our yellow lines drop down below the green, and we're just coming to the point where, now these are just examples that I've put in there of where it might stretch out to, but you can see the yellow line is actually tilting up and coming down to meet that green line. So if you were to extend those out, it puts us probably out around about beginning of December is where they might cross, depending on price action, of course.
Nice.
So if that continues to hold true, that could be our bottom. Who knows? But that's been a reliable call. We'll hedge that by saying the world's a different place. But what if this market is still going to stick to its cycles? So just something to ponder on.
Yeah. I have said, I think I said it last week, or maybe it was on one of my own streams, that the more time that goes on, the more confident I am that we're not going down to 11K. And it's effectively because of these types of things that happen, where it's like that if you grind sideways long enough, you reset your momentum indicators. You absorb all the buy pressure, all the weak hands get shaken out. It's like all of these things, whether they are things that you're looking on chain, on a chart, or just like sentiment, human psychology shit, or just or market cycle shit. Typically in this situation where we've gone down a lot, time is now on our side. Like time is now a winning thing rather than against us. Yep. So I guess that's good news because the going sideways, I think, is the thing that people hate the most. It's boring. And it's uncertain, and you still don't know whether you're going to take another leg down. So people aren't like not willing to buy in. They're like too scared to buy in, but it's just
and that's why it takes a while to build out of it, because then you look at that market psychology chart. It's people think it's a fake rally. They think it's like a bear rally, and it's going to crash back down again. So that's what I was saying about people lose 30 to 50% of their bag at these points if they sell, because they're waiting for that, and this is what's going through their mind. Oh no, this is just another bear rally. It's going to crash back down again. I'm not going to go in, and it's not until it gets away from them that they go, okay, maybe exactly that was the time.
I have found that. So I decided a few weeks ago. I'm not sure if I mentioned on any videos. I'm pretty sure I did actually. Yeah. Actually, I've got videos on my channel about this. That basically, in sideways markets, the people who make the most money are market makers, because you've got a range effectively, and then you're just making money as people are buying and selling within that range. And so I've got a few videos, I think there's 2, on how I was choosing the LPs that I was getting involved with to do that kind of thing. And I think psychologically it also helps a lot, because rather than being like, oh man, this sideways, I just need it to end so I can make a trade, or like I can make some gains or whatever. You are actually, even though it's still, I still find sideways markets annoying, but every day you're like, oh, I've made yield. Like I've made real yield out of this choppy nonsense. So yeah, I think psychologically and financially, being a market maker is quite beneficial in sideways markets, and you get to learn how to do it as well
when it's not so volatile, and especially with if you're doing it on Uniswap and things like that, you can take out that impermanent loss risk, or you can go across to some of the ETH forks and go your hardest over there. You got free money over there you can test it out with.
Yeah, exactly right. That is what I was doing as well. Yeah, doing it like treating those forks like test nets, and just playing around. So
Sorry, I think I've got a crazy dog barking in the background. Let me know if you can hear that. If you can,
I can, but it's not intrusive to the stream, I don't think.
Cool. And I don't know, with all the time changes, I'm not sure how long we can run for before we start stepping on people's toes. I think we've got maybe 20 minutes we can keep.
Yeah, I've almost run out of things to say. I mean, I know that sounds ridiculous for how much has been going on, but I think when there's things that happen that are so massive, it kind of just
But everyone's been talking about it as well. So there's only so much you can beat a dead horse.
So I mean, maybe if people have got questions for us, then maybe we'll end in like a Q&A type thing.
Yeah.
We've looked at charts, we've discussed the key things. We've, obviously everyone's situation is different, but the things that Lit was saying on his stream about that you definitely need to try and stay calm. Like you definitely need to try and relax, like, and not let this shit give you anxiety and stress you out and shit like that. Most of the time you're just creating a meta problem, right? Like as in stressing out is not going to make the price go up.
No.
So
yeah, I think that's the big takeaway is, market's shit, a little bit of FUD going around, step away, don't engage in it. I think as a community, we just need to chill a little bit, let time sort out this round of FUD. The big fellas saying don't sell bottoms. Take from that what you will.
Yep. There's a question here about. Oh wait, wrong one. There's a question here about the Hadron auctions. I know I'm not answering the question specifically, but that is something that has happened recently as well. Was the opening up of, and that's going to be over the next few days, that you can contribute to this poly thing. I have on all three chains, on all three ETH forks, and there's different people theorizing different things. The thing that surprised me, I thought that Hadron price would go up into this period as people were buying it to get poly, and the price has actually gone down. But like you said, everything's gone down.
Yeah,
so,
I differ a little bit. I don't think anyone specifically went out and brought Hadron to get poly.
Oh, really?
I don't think. I think people would have pushed whatever they had sideways, is my general thought. I think a lot of people I think that's probably been front run. Like people have got their positions for whatever they're going to have for the auctions. And if people are bidding individually, they may have their eye on some of these HSIs they want to acquire. And two things are going to happen when that's playing out is, that's when a lot of Hadron's going to get burnt. So maybe we see something price positive from that. But I think we all know just because you burn something doesn't necessarily mean it goes up in price. You need people to buy on market for things to go up in price. But hey, it might have that positive effect. The other thing you might see is people that are bidding on HSIs, they may have their eye on something and they put in a minimum bid, and then they're overbid, but it's not by a lot, and they could probably still go to market and buy more Hadron and pick up Hex stakes that are worth substantially more, but they need to top up on their Hadron to be able to do that. So you might see a bit of buy side pressure from that sort of behavior.
So to attempt to answer this question, this would be normally one for Bluey. I did hear that Alex had made some new way of, in fact, I've actually got it in messages. I'm not sharing my screen, am I?
Yeah.
No, okay, cool. So I'm going to pull this up. Bluey actually sent us a link to a new site that lets you see all the Hadron stakes or something.
Yeah, I did bookmark a few of those. So there's hexmodel.com.
Here we go. Hycosa.anvil. Is that? No, sorry. That's, you can see Hadron stakers on that one. So I might just start pumping a few of these into the chat because I've got the account that lets me do it. So this link
Yeah,
that I'm putting in there right now, that lets you see Hadron stakes, I think.
Yeah, so that was
Icosa
the
stakes and
Maximus
stuff.
guy. That was the Maximus guys that put that one together.
Cool. And I thought Bluey sent us another link that was like something to do with, or maybe it was just that. Anyway, well, you could, if you're looking for stuff, I'll just pull up the next question while we're. But anyway, the community. If you tweet out about that, I'm sure, or if you tweet reply to something by one of the team guys, they'll hit you up with all the different ones.
Yeah, I've put in the one that I had, but I think everyone's probably aware of the Hex model one.
Did it let you post it?
No, I just put it in our private chat.
Okay.
I'll spanner on this.
Okay, yep. I'll go and chuck that in. So this is Jexa, the link that Jexa just mentioned. Then this question about off ramps, even though technically at the moment there's still no bridges that I'm aware of that that work, or maybe there is, but I haven't tested them myself to be able to say that they're G. People have just been using centralized exchanges like Bitroo and MEXC and stuff like that, because if you're just using the exchange for a really short period of time where you're just sending the tokens in, selling it into something that you want like ETH or Bitcoin or Hex or whatever, if they've got Hex. By the way, Bitroo actually has Hex on the exchange. So if what you want to do is get your shit from one of these other chains, although that Bitroo's only got Ethereum work, not fair. So, but if you wanted to sell your Ethereum proof of work token to buy Hex, you could actually do it all on that Bitroo exchange, extract it and do it. The other thing that this question made me realize that I wanted to share, something that's just reminded me, I wanted to share this. There's this site that someone told me about on Telegram called sideshift.ai. And so I was asking within the chat that I created for Hex on Ethereum proof of work, I was just asking if anyone knew of any privacy solutions. And someone responded saying, hey, just use this site, sideshift.ai, to shift it into Monero. Like, so you can go from something like Ethereum to Monero, right? But I was actually looking for privacy solutions on the other ETH forks. However, this site is still noteworthy. So even though this doesn't actually do what I was searching for, I was super stoked that this person told me about the site. If I remembered who it was, I would give them credit, by the way. I forget who it was that told me about it. So here you can just side shift from ETH into Monero, and notice that because they know that the reason that people would be shifting between Monero and other assets is because of privacy. Notice that when it's showing the recent shifts, when it's one that's related by Monero, either in or out, they mask the amounts, which is pretty cool, so that people can't do like looking on here to see who's doing what amounts and then trying to like link it up to the blockchain, because obviously it has to go through some shit or whatever. So this is pretty cool. This is not just no KYC. This is no sign up. So normally on an exchange that doesn't do KYC, you still have to create a login with an email address and that sort of thing. This literally, you don't even have to give them an email address. It is a no sign up cross-chain crypto exchange. Incredible.
The other thing on this is there's an accountant button up the top, so don't press it now.
Oh, okay.
But if you press that, it actually generates a private account for you, but there's still no sign up or anything. It's just gives you essentially like a private key that you can go back in and sign back into the exchange. So it caches them in your browser. So if you clear your browser cookies, it'll disappear. But if you wanted to go back in on a different exchange, on a different browser, you could put that private key in and get back in there. Now, I don't know what extra features it gives you. I'm assuming there must be some benefit to do that. But it also does things where you can do 2FA on it and everything. So it's got like centralized exchange security, but without, like you say, without having to docs and email to sign up and things like that.
Yeah, shit, yeah.
Hmm.
Yeah, it's so good. I'm really, really impressed with that shit. So next question.
I've got no idea how good the rates are or anything. I've got to be honest, I haven't done a swap on it yet.
They claim that it's like the best rate, like as in it's like good market rates, but obviously we can't just take their word for it. That's a good point. That that would be something worth checking out. So then I'm just checking whether there's any more questions. Thanks, Jexa, by the way, for telling me not to click the account button, because even though I haven't used it before on this particular computer, I think it does. Yeah, it would be something that would be specific to me. So here we go. Someone said that people should just buy the dip and then stop looking at Twitter. I think that's pretty solid advice.
That's good advice. Yeah.
Oh, someone's talking about when the next show starts. So, oh, that's right. Yeah, that's why day 43 told us to start at 6:30 was because they've got some daylight savings thing going on, so they're starting earlier. Which means I think as long as we wind things up, which is naturally happening anyway.
Yeah.
Oh, here's a question from Ted. What would you have told yourself a year ago that you know now that Hex is going to go down 95%?
that it's not as bear market proof as what everyone thought.
Yeah. If I had to do it in like a cryptic way where I wasn't allowed to like literally tell myself the future, I would say exactly what Jexa just said. Like, just be like, it's not as bear market proof as you once thought. Like, do you know what I mean? Like waking up in cold sweats, like looking outside to see if my Lambo's still there. Like just, yeah.
That's funny.
Get banned from Twitter. Someone tweeted out that there's been like a record high Twitter usage since Elon Musk bought it.
No, yeah. When you get banned from Twitter on purpose, I think it's called Twitter side.
Someone's saying we've got 2 hours and 45 minutes until the next show. That can't be right, but thank you for the super chat.
Alan, you give us a super chat every week, buddy. Thanks for that. I think that the time zone changes have meant that I don't think we get the 2 hours.
By the way, I wouldn't have believed my future self if a time machine, literally, if a Rick and Morty portal appeared in front of me and my future self walked out of it back a year ago and said, Hex is going to go down 95%. I would have said, get your ass back in that fucking portal before I beat the shit out of you. That is not happening. Don't lie to me.
I'm going to change. I wouldn't go back and say that. I would say I would have told myself PulseChain's not going to launch for another year. That's the advice I would have given.
Oh, yeah, okay. That would have been, if you could only give yourself one piece of future advice.
PulseChain's still 2 years away.
The reason I started laughing is because I thought you were about to say I would have told myself to buy more and like fuck myself up. Buy more, man. It only goes up, bro. Like, so then, in the show, PulseChain launched before, after documentary. That's another interesting one. I encourage people to follow the Highest of Stakes Twitter handle. They've only got something like, I think they've only got something like somewhere between 10 and 20,000 followers, and it should be like 100,000 followers. You know what I mean?
Where's that on Twitter or YouTube?
On Twitter.
Okay.
Because that's where they announce all the stuff, right? They've also got a YouTube, do they?
Don't know. No, I wasn't sure what you meant.
I'm on Twitter. So Highest. I just noticed the Highest of Stakes documentary. They've got Oh, sorry, it's more than 20K. It's 24K. I thought that should probably be a lot higher for the amount of this is a defining I want to say defining moment, but I think this is a defining
epoch,
like product, like consolidation, or like it's like this story that they are telling is like defines or encapsulates, maybe is the word I was looking for. This thing encapsulates the journey that we have been on so far. I think there's something very special about it, and I think regardless of how much of that journey you guys have been on, whether you've been on it right from the start like us, or joined part way, I really think there's something very special about this video. Like when you see the production quality and like this thing of how they had the they had a fucking orchestra to make the soundtrack or parts of the soundtrack, and just absolutely hectic, just absolutely hectic.
So they've got some, they sent out some tweet about, and it's not an NFT or anything they're trying to flog, but apparently there's they said box set or something like that, where there's the chance to get a hold of in there. I think they termed it like a piece of history or something like that. So I don't know what it is. You had to give them an email address to participate in it. So if you're into that kind of thing, knock yourself out.
You know what's I just stumbled across this tweet where they said, do you want to help the movie? We need the top 5 clips where Richard Hartwin like flexes his IQ in 1 or 2 sentences, right, or less, for a montage. So I'm thinking, rather than waiting for the video, you can go through this tweet. There's 89 comments on here. These will be the short clips that the Hex community believes are Richard's most powerful, hard-hitting statements. So after this stream, I'm probably going to, go through those 89 comments and get inspired, renew my RH maxiness. That support level's holding, by the way, for now. Nice.
I think we've seen peak FUD for now. So
yeah. So boom, more's looking good. Pulse sec, Pulse SEC, Pulse sec chain. Oh my god, this person's actually made their username and profile picture to be the SEC. Oi, I don't know if you guys know this, but two of the a fake CZ account and a fake Sam Bankman-Fried account started beefing in the comments, where it's like, you want to fight, bro, and shit like that. Like, for anyone who did this is the one and only time that I'm not annoyed at those fake accounts that try to fraudulently be someone that they're not. That is hilarious. That is fucking hilarious. Because to the untrained eye, you would just see, you'd be reading the thread and you would think it's actually them.
Yeah, you got to do a double take and check the handles, don't you?
Oh, Tolek fucking bringing the fire. Fuck PulseChain. Fuck PulseChain. Look, I will admit that Matic. So this is something I was actually watching, was because I personally believe that you only need 1 or 2 coins to be pumping, right? To go up and stay up, to start giving people FOMO, so that they're like, oh, I want mad gains, right? And so Doge and Matic both had extreme, and my TA actually called this top, or called the resistance at least. But this sort of run up, and the fact that it hasn't completely crumpled on itself under all of this stuff that's going on, again, relative strength, staying up. This run was massive.
I think the
Doge
Doge
did
one
a
was
2x.
more. Yeah, that was more based off
Doge
of Twitter, though.
Oh, Elon buying Twitter. Yes,
Yeah.
absolutely.
So there was fundamental thing.
So
Right.
here's the Doge one. That was roughly a 2x, and that's been pulling back, but it's still over 10 cents. And so I am actually actively keeping an eye on these coins that have pumped, even though they're not ones that I would personally buy, because of the fact this thing that I just mentioned about how it can induce FOMO into others. So I get it. Like, so this comment from Tolek, it's always easy to point to the project that's pumping and be like, oh, you were all fools to buy whatever shitcoin A, shitcoin B, whatever you happen to buy. Look at this project over here that's pumping. But it's impossible to just always be on the project that pumps, right? Like it's not possible to just continuously jump from the fastest train to the fastest train to the fastest train. So I would rather stay in something like Hex that I'm confident will come back in the next bull market than trying to like guess the shit, like play guess the shit coin.
Yeah. So people do that. They do a lot of chasing. And so then you go, oh, okay, well, how do you stop doing the chasing? And the only way to stop doing that is to heavily embed yourself in a community. So if you're heavily embedded in Hex and Pulse, you know what the flow of things that are going on. You know many of the developers and what they're working on. So you basically got that alpha and you're one step ahead. Whereas if you're sitting over here and you're not part of that community and you're seeing something pump, then you're trying to jump in and you've got no idea why it's pumping or what's going on. You're just chasing green candles.
Exactly.
So there is so much opportunity that's been placed at your feet within our community. You don't get much earlier than going along on everyone's journey with them.
Yeah, and I bet the people who typically, no offense, Tolek, the people who typically make these comments, show me that you made the comment down here before the pump ran. Like it's easy to mention the coins that have already pumped, but where's the receipts of you saying to get into Matic or that Matic would be a better play back before it pumped? No one ever does. And then the people that chase the pumps, like Jex is saying, you can end up actually diminishing your bags as you continually. So say anyone who tried to FOMO in anywhere from here up is now underwater. Like anyone who tried to do it above this is Dogecoin, not Matic, but anyone who bought Doge over 10 cents, so anywhere from 10 cents to like 16 cents is now underwater. And look, this doesn't look good. This looks like it's probably going to keep going down until it can find support on one of these highs here. So come down like at least another cent, maybe. Why not Tangent? You have an extra hour now, apparently. Why not what? This made me laugh. Don't worry, I'm just investigating. It's just an inquiry at this point. Don't worry. It's not a Elon tweetbot. So then look at this. Yeah, yes. Just play those subpoenas are just them. Is just the SEC doing its due diligence before it buys in hard on Hex. It's like they're doing a Slack version of due diligence. Like, you know, when I tweet out with a question rather than trying to work it out myself, where I'm like, guys, I need a link to this shit. Please, someone hit me up. Like that. This is the SEC's version of that, where they could go online and do research, but they're like, we might as well just fucking subpoena people, get them to tell us about Hex, that we can buy in.
See, that's the spirit. You got to have a bit of a laugh at these things, do you?
Hell yes. Hell yeah.
Don't take it too seriously.
So yeah,
get on with your life.
I like to see this shit. I like to see coins that, even if they're coins that I don't hold or am not interested in buying, pumping and bringing a degree. And like I said, it only takes one or two that have sustained pumps, because then people start thinking, oh, I want to buy a coin that hasn't pumped yet. And so then people start buying into the coins that are grounded, ready for takeoff. Most of the paper hands have sold out at that point, and then things just start popping the fuck off. So LFG.
Cool. What do you reckon?
Yeah, I'm ready.
Wrap
I'm
it
ready
up,
to
mate?
end it. I'm getting quite hungry.
Yeah.
So
Likewise.
thanks to everyone that came by. I think we had record numbers. At least we had record comments.
Yeah,
That was a lot of comments.
Seen a lot of familiar faces, but also seen a few people that we don't normally see pop in as well, which was good. So thanks for joining.
Indeed. Now, is there a video I'm meant to go out on, or that we?
I've got
usually
no
go out on,
idea.
or
Got no idea, brother. I just turn up every week. I don't know how all the buttons work.
I'm not going to risk it. There's too many. There's too many videos here that might be the wrong shit. So.
It's all good. Is there one with Skippy or something on there? Probably something like that.
There's this. I think this might be a still. Oh shit. Oh, I think I just fucked the background.
Oh, well.
Oh, that's a background thing. That's a background thing. Whoops. Cool. All right. I think. No, that's all good. There's boobs here. I won't click on that. Yeah, nah. All good. So
okay.
yeah, thanks Jexa for coming by, and
nice to chat.
Fuck yeah, we'll continue the mission. I think the thing to watch. Sign outs. For me, all I want to sign out on is same message as from Lit. Try to stay calm. I think the thing to watch is whether this particular level that we're at right now, whether that holds, and I think it can. I think it would be great if it did. And so keep an eye on that. Like I said, keep an eye on some of these other coins that have pumped aggressively to see if they just collapse in a heap, then that's a bad sign. Obviously, keep an eye on Bitcoin and ETH, and other than that, just stay and chill.
Yep. Yeah. Likewise, it's always darkest before the dawn. So I think now's the time for the community to rally together, especially with what's been going on. If you've been anyway engaged, you've seen so many things being built out in the last 12 months. There should be no reason to think that this thing's going anywhere. So don't let yourself get fudded out of your position. Keep positive and rally around together and be supportive of each other on the Twitters and things like that. Because like I said, good times will be around the corner. You
just reminded me, there was an awesome Twitter Spaces by KG where he had each of the, I think 10 or so builders of projects for PulseChain just gave like a quick update each.
Yep.
And so it looks like it's hours long, but that segment is just the first like 30, 40 minutes or whatever. I think it's worth everyone going and listening to that. It will make you bullish. Like it will reinstill the excitement of PulseChain and that sort of thing. Yeah, it's really good.
Yep. Cool. Yeah, no, that was good. Go listen to that. Go watch the RG Lit vid, at least the first half of that, because that was when they were talking about a few important things. But yeah, there's some good level heads out there. So if you're feeling fudded or whatever, tune into the right people.
Hell yes. All right. See you, Jexa,
Cheers,
and see you, everyone in the chat. And out.
I think we're still live, dude. Hello, everyone. So Tangent bailed, and he's left it live. So I don't know how we switch that off. But yeah, bye for now, guys.